right, we need base runners. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Travel Ball Experience again. David and Charlie here with you. And Charlie, this week we got blue. Alan Barton. Alan, thanks for joining us tonight. We're really looking forward to having an umpire when we started this podcast, and thank you for joining.
You bet.
So for those out there that don't know Alan, I'm going to kind of run down a little bit of his history. He says he started playing baseball when he was 5 years old. Everybody started playing so much younger than I did, but that's impressive. You've been umpiring, though, since 1989. That's 35 years as an umpire. And then you played a little bit of ball yourself. You were out in Texas. You grew up out in the El Paso area, played junior college at Trinidad Junior College in Colorado, and then went on to play at a four-year school, Henderson, here in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. So you've been in education for 40 years, 36 of it in Greenland, Arkansas. And I'm not even going to go down everything you've done at Greenland, but it sounds like you have had quite a few jobs there and are currently the director of operation for the Greenland School District. So welcome, and what a resume, but what a perfect person to talk about umpiring, 35 years umpiring. So thanks for joining, and let's just start there. Does it feel like it's been 35 years?
No, not really. When you get up as being a coach, I was a coach in high school girls basketball coach, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of 10 state championships as a girls high school basketball coach.
Wow, unbelievable. So how has umpiring instruction changed over the last 35 years as far as, I know that you have to be certified. You have to take some classes. I think 35 years ago, was that the case, or were they just looking for someone to come out there and call balls and strikes?
Yeah, we were just looking for people to, because 35 years ago, we were, playing every little town was playing against every little town. It's called summer baseball, and I represented Greenland, and everybody. Elkins, Prairie Grove, all the little towns, we just switch and just that was it. But now, we have 4 different sets of rules. MLB, triple A. Then you got college baseball rules. You got travel ball rules. I mean, if it wasn't for you coaches that know all the rules, I wouldn't remember them all.
I don't think that's the case. So these days, there are so many different levels of baseball and different sets of rules. If somebody's out there and they did want to think, hey, maybe I want to umpire someday, what do you have to do to get started, and what level is usually the best to jump in and try to learn how to do it? Get your feet wet.
I think that if they can start off at the 9-10-year-olds, in little county ball and stuff like that. I mean, you can jump into travel ball. But you better have thick skin, and you better know what you're doing. And because no matter what, even the veterans, we still get questioned on some of our calls and stuff like that. But I would start with the little one. I mean, this is a great job for a young man that's 16 trying to figure out, well, I want to get a summer job. Well, come on. We need tons of us, because there's a lot of us that are starting to turn 61. I'll be 62 in March. So, it's we're always looking for newcomers.
Yeah, we've had over the last several years, we've had some high school kids. We know who they are. Because being a local team, and we play mostly local tournaments. We've seen some high school kids out there, and I think it's really great for them. I have seen them get chewed on pretty hard too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some coaches try to take advantage of that.
Well, and for me, when I have been with several, I have to look at that coach and say, dude, a lot of us are about to, walk away from this, and this is your future. You can't, if you want to talk to them, but ripping in front of everybody, these kids are not as tough these days as we grew up, as I tell them, I say, you got to just flick it off. It's got to be water on the duck's back and just go because you know the game because that's why you're here.
Yeah, that's good advice.
So, Alan, are the parents different today than they were when you first started?
Oh yes, I mean here's the deal. You know, especially with this travel ball. I mean, every kid has I'm assuming. I mean, I used to coach travel ball. You know, with my boys, but there's a fee, right? And there's 10 to 11 boys on the team, and you know, they're gonna bat everybody, and you know, and if those parents don't feel like their kid's getting a fair shake, they're gonna let you know about it. And you know, I just turn around and tell them, look, I'm a principal. You know, I told them I was a principal and a high school girls basketball coach. What you're about to give me is nothing compared to what I had to experience as a coach. So
I
they they
bet.
they kind of chuckle that off, you know, and you know if you get a rapport when you walk on the field, like I go down around the fence and good morning, how's it going, blah 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 blah. You once they feel that you're there for the kids, and I'm known as a lifesaver umpire. You know, you make a dive and play and save a pitcher and out. You know, I'm gonna throw you a lifesaver, and right now they really love the orange lifesavers.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like how you say build rapport. I think there is so much stress out there, Alan. The parents, you know, they've thrown so much in for what right or wrong, they're invested in it, right? And
Sure.
and to make them feel like, okay, this guy's not out against me, or you know, Timmy didn't get a fair shake, and you know, and maybe he's already having problems on the team, and they're feeling that stress. And so for you to reach out, that's really cool advice to anybody that's
You know.
umpiring out there.
And when we miss a call, and you know, we got to stand by it probably. But if we know we missed it after we talk with the partner, my partner and I, Noah Lane, uh, we'll let the kid know, hey, I missed that one. Sorry, you know, I'll do my best the next time. And long as those kids know that you're sincere about it, you know, uh, they're excited that we come on. Noah and I, they all like Noah and I. So you know, when we walk on the best thing to do when you walk on the field through the dugout and they go, yes, we got Alan and Noah. That's a good feel.
Yeah.
Yep. So travel ball is one area that's grown in the baseball, and that's why we're here and we do the podcast. The good, bad, and the ugly. Alan, I mean, what's your take on it? And we sure love Charlie and I sure love the good side of it, but we know there's a side that's kind of not great for the kids or the parents sometimes as well. What's just your observation in travel ball? Where does it fit? Has it gone the wrong direction? Is it going the right direction? How do you see it?
Well, about 3 years ago, I thought it was going in the wrong direction because that's when everybody started wanting to have a team, you know, get their own son and get their friends or you know, and let's go play baseball. And then so what I have noticed in the last 2 years is now we getting some strong organizations like yours, and the coaches are trying to teach the fundamentals and be competitive at the same time. So I think we've got people say it's kind of watered down because everybody wants to have a team. You know, mom and pop, they have their own team, but there's some strong organizations that are teaching kids how to play baseball the right way. And you know, I know when the Sliders, the Dodgers, the Express, I know I'm getting coaches that come in with knowledge, and I got to be the best. But their kids on their team, uh, they're bringing it because their fundamentals are sound. They swing the bat. They're taught to not talk to the umpires, not complain. So what? Throw it up, and then let's go to the next pitch. So, uh, I really like the direction it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
maybe that like right after or during COVID when the rec leagues all shut down, that really spurred a moment of everyone wanting to start their own travel team. And so maybe we've cooled down from that moment.
I agree. I definitely agree. But you know, there's some. I mean, here at Greenland, I rent our facilities out to three travel teams. You know, we got indoor cages. We got. I mean, let me tell you what. There's this little team called the Ducks that are going to make some noise, and then the Sliders come out here. You know, so Express is out here. So. they're getting plenty. Swings in the batting cage. We got 3 batting cages there, and we got turf infields for baseball and softball. So that the little ones use the softball field, and the baseball is used by 12 to on up.
Yeah. This is one Charlie and I have talked about before. What do you think the most misunderstood call is by parents out there watching?
The balk call.
The balk?
The balk. Oh my! I mean,
Every move is a balk.
That's not a balk,
Yeah.
Blue. Come on, Blue.
I mean, the bad thing about it is, we're balking at 9 years old. I mean, they're breathing, they're balking, and what bothers Noah and I is we're trying to teach them how not to balk.
Hmm.
But you can say coaches, hey, don't coach my kids. And when a coach tells the umpire that, guess what? That we shut it down. I mean, we're there to try to help kids do better. And when I mean, it could be a slight, bend the front knee before you take, deliver a pitch. They don't know this stuff, so we're trying to teach them, and so the balk call is probably the hardest.
So where do you come down on, like, at what age do you
12, we don't tolerate. 12 years old, we don't tolerate. I don't care if you're
okay.
AA or whatever. 12 year, 11.
At 12, no warning.
No, we're
Nothing.
gonna bang you. But sometimes at 10 years old, they come out and say, "Hey, both our teams know what they're doing, so bang them the first time." So the coaches are upfront with you. They'll ask, "Are you going to bang us right off, or are you going to give us a warning?" And of course, we look at both coaches. It's up to you. We can do it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it either way. What about the foul ball versus foul tip?
Well, especially when you're still in the base. I know so you foul it off, and the catcher catches it, and they run to second base, and they don't make a throw, and the parents are like, he fouled it. No, that's a tip, and it's fielded cleanly, so it's fielded just like a regular pitch. So foul balls, they're pretty obvious, and the parents don't understand. We only call foul balls. We don't call fair balls.
Right.
And, so if we point outwards, that's a foul ball. But we ain't gonna point just inside the bag and go, that's a fair ball. No, we don't say anything, and that parents get upset about that. You didn't let us know. Well, if I didn't call foul ball, that means it's fair.
Yeah. Which is the case at all levels of baseball, but I think a lot of parents don't watch a lot of baseball.
No, they're there. You can tell they got their music boxes, and they're all in their gear. They're looking good. Mamas are talking about where we're going to eat. You can hear all these conversations, but boy, when Johnny comes up, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not even going to bring up the music, Alan. We don't do walk-up songs. We don't bring a speaker. I'm old school like that.
And we like that. We like that you're there for one purpose, and that's to play baseball and compete.
We're there to play baseball. We don't get to do when we were younger. Of course, we're 12 now, so I think everyone almost is out of that. But we don't do the dugout chants and the symmetry of chants and all that. We said, hey, at 9, we're like, you need to learn to chirp correctly out there and support your teammates, and so we taught them all those one-liners you kind of learn by being around the game so long. But we don't do the music thing. So.
The best thing about not doing music is that you don't have to fight for music time with the other team.
Well,
they can play theirs.
You know what I found out is that there is a understanding, and the ones that have the music boxes know when they can play and when they can't. So there's no battle wars. They just know when it's their turn. And I was like, they said, yeah, we know when we're allowed to play music. And so I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, when we show up to play, you can play your music the whole time because we're not going to be playing music.
Unless it's a song we really don't like, and then we'll just tell you it's our turn. We don't want to listen to anything. I haven't been around the game so long in so many years of doing this umpiring and just being around it. I've often wondered about this. When you're out there, Alan, can you kind of get a feeling about who's going to win that game or who has a better chance to win that game? And does that start just by an eye test or warm ups and let's say there are two teams that you don't have a lot, or maybe they're two out of town teams, and so you're just kind of observing and watching. Are there any tells that you've kind of picked up over the years?
Oh yeah, I mean, if that pitcher is around the plate, they're not looking to, get outside the river and beg for strikes. You got a catcher that knows how to, funnel a strike for the pitcher, and they just go out and, when they're fielding ground balls before warm up, that when we walk up and see that, we kind of know who's ready to go. So it's just, or a team that's dressed right, looks right, knows how to handle their business. We know that team. We don't know if they're going to win, but we know it's going to be a competitive game.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing that we're in our team. We're still constantly kind of battling is just getting the importance of every once you're at the ball field, every rep matters, and how you field that ball at third and throw it across in the warm-ups is how you're going to do it in the game.
Yeah, sure.
And it never fails. The one time one kid's kind of not, and you're like, man, I don't even know, maybe I should make a lineup change and pull it. Baseball finds it. He short arms it because he was jacking around, and not crazy, but you could just tell. And inevitably there's an error. I see it at my team. I didn't know if you were just like watching teams, if there was a way to kind of see who was maybe, but yeah, defense, preparation, right? Are they handling their business?
Or you can hear the balls in the batting cage the game before. You're umpiring ball games and you're hearing solid cracks and oh, we got some boys coming. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
We look for the run rules, but we ain't gonna help. We can't cause that. But I mean, those July months and playing an hour and a half and smoking hot, and we'd like to get a favor every once in a while. But the bad thing is it's saving your pitcher for the next game. You know what I mean? So next thing you know, the team's up by 20, and then we change pitcher when the third inning comes around just because we're up by 20, and now it's 12. Dang it! It's 15 after 3. Now we gotta go. Boy, you just look at that coach and go, really? Just end it. It's 3 innings. It's 9 outs.
Alan, it's called pitching development, right?
Yeah, we got to develop our pitchers, Alan.
we got some kids that need some work,
But when you can take advantage of getting the game over with, you take advantage of it.
Well, in the heat for sure. There's a lot of value in that.
Hey, Alan, you mentioned the pitcher being around the plate, and I know that when we have a game, we go up to the plate to swing the bat. That's our offensive philosophy. We're not trying to walk. And the most frustrating games are when you're facing a team that wants to stand up there and take a bunch of pitches. Is it the same for you umpires?
Oh yes, I mean, if your pitcher can't find the zone, or your catcher can't catch the ball, you kind of look at that coach and give him a look like, "Come on, let's go," because what coaches don't understand. We're consistent. We all have our consistent strike zone, right? But the real strike zone is right at the chest to the knees. And then, but in travel ball, if you even think about calling that chest, that's high. Okay, we'll go lower. But if I'm going to go lower from up here, then I got to go lower down below the knees. Also, the strike zone's a strike zone. But
I would love to see an even bigger strike zone than that. I would love to see, the letters on the shirt. I would like to see off the plate.
Well, we will. I will go ball off the plate.
Yeah.
But I like the river. I like I'm old school. Throw it inside, and guess what? I'm gonna call it because everybody teaches their pitcher to do what? Get outside, throw it outside, but everybody's learning to hit that way, right?
Yeah.
Wants to hit right center. So we're not the good teams. Their pitchers will throw inside because they know how to throw it inside. That's what I've known about the good teams. The solid good teams, their pitchers will pound it inside. Because everybody's used to throwing outside, so now everybody's mastered that swing. Throw the hands out and go with it. Throw it inside, and kids are freaking out. So I would suggest having your pitcher throw inside so your batters can be able to turn on it.
Right. And how about your strike zone at different levels? Do you, like, if you're calling a double A game, are you calling the same strike zone if you're calling a major team playing?
No, not really, unfortunately, because
You just can't.
no, it's going to be a walk fest. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, I will say this: I also do showcases, 16 through 18, and
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you about that. I mean, they are the ones that are holding those showcases. They're going to tell you it better be this big, and it better not be off the plate because they're here to showcase.
Right.
It, and they throw really hard, so it's kind of fun about that. But yeah, it just depends on the experience, and the
Mm-hmm.
majors or triple. There's really not a difference between a triple A and a majors, other than the majors have 3 home run hitters and triple A has 1. But
That's exactly right.
I've seen many triple A teams beat major teams.
Right.
It's
Well, I
just
think that's what we've seen coming up from double A is that the strike zone definitely seems a lot tighter.
yeah, and as a batter, okay, that's going to be called a strike, and that's not going to be called a strike.
Mm-hmm.
Umpires are humans, so we're gonna try to keep the game apace because it's an hour and a half. So if you're a ball
Right.
outside and the kids got a 30-inch bat, they can hit that ball. All they got to do is step that way. But when
Mm-hmm.
when it's big time, come on, show your best because they're going to be strikes and those games just fly. I mean, we could get 6-inning games in. I mean, 6-inning games.
Yeah, that's what I love to see.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've had a few, and they're great. They're a lot of fun, and you're like, oh man, we got 6 innings in. That means it's good ball, right?
that's
They're
exactly.
pitching, we're fielding. There's not a lot of messing around. There's not some. Those are really enjoyable games. In fact, the game that we got knocked out in state last year was a 6-inning 4-3 game, and I told the boys how proud I am, and I really was. We walked out of there with our head held high. I'll take losing if we're playing good ball.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
easier to take too if the other team is coming to the plate to hit.
Correct.
We won't even
Pet
go
peeve.
there. There's still a couple teams that like to leave it on the shoulder, but we'll let that go.
Well, we will encourage, the coach. Hey, we ain't. You better tell your kids start swinging. Just as a courtesy. Like this ain't good for anybody. So
Yeah.
start swinging, or we'll do
Yeah,
something about it. But
the worst is when you're young, Alan, and you're like, not 8, 9 you out there, and the coach is just giving them the take sign all day long. And I'm like, man, if I'm a parent, I'm like yanking my kid out of this program, and I'm not sitting through this.
right.
For the only reason that you're told not to swing at 9 years old is you want to walk as many times to score as many runs so a coach can say they won a 9-year-old baseball game, but your players didn't get any better.
Well, and see, when they come from 8-year-olds where, they hit the ball and you just fly around until you score, or the umpire stops them, and then they get in the 9-year-old, and then they, go, 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 and then they're getting out. What's the deal? So,
Yeah.
I mean, we have to tell the kids, this ain't 8 years old. You got to be smart. And then you got a boy trying to pick off, and the wind's blowing about 60 miles an hour, and he weighs about 45 pounds. He's moving. Yeah, he is. He can't. Sorry, we can't do nothing about that.
You can't
Yeah.
help it.
Alan, what do you think is the toughest age or level to umpire?
11-year-olds.
Because the field gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and most 11 there. It seems like there's less 11-year-old teams because that's just that that age of growth in a kid from 10 to 11 is huge. And
Yeah.
now hey, we're big boy ball. Now we're 11 years old because we can go compete with 12-year-olds too. So I My favorite is 12 majors. My next favorite is 10-year-old open. Uh, that's good ball. I mean, those boys have had a year of it, and they know exactly what to do. And most of the ones that play open or majors in 10-year-olds are really good teams.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree with that. Disagreements with coaches and parents. It's going to happen. Um, how much rope do you give a coach, Alan?
Oh, I give them all the rope they can, as long as you don't you know, throw a bad word at me. You can bring it, and eventually I'm going to say I messed up, but I can't change it. You know, because of the integrity of the baseball game, and you know you can you you can say you want to protest it. You know, I'll bring somebody in, but. Um, we're not out there to make people uh, hate the game. We're not out there because we don't care, because we work hour and a half games, and we do 6 to 7 games in a day, and it, you know, uh, and the fee is not what people would think it is, and so we're doing it because we like baseball. We're trying to help boys because we all played baseball, and but coach, sometimes coaches don't see that, and they want to argue, and they can argue all you want, but eventually when I say it's got to stop, you got to stop, or we'll just tell you to walk away. And I don't really like to listen. I'll talk to anybody, but the guy that comes to the home plate is the guy that is the one that's supposed to represent that team. And when you throw an assistant coach that wants to say something, you know, we had that last term at Kessler. The assistant coach is barking out saying, leave our kids alone." I was like, "Okay, then I'm gonna keep barking them." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to teach them." "We'll do the teaching." Obviously, you haven't, because I've called the balk 4 times. So I'm trying to teach him to stop it. You know, you can't have the ball in the glove when you're on the rubber and then take it and separate and do the stretch. That's a ball. Put the ball
Hmm.
here, leave the ball in the glove, but do something. You can't stay here and then dress the thing and then take it off and go. That's a ball. And
Yeah, I know we always appreciate when the umpire explains the rule directly to the player. I think it's good, and I think the players appreciate it too.
oh yeah, and then they're always saying yes, sir. You know, they're every once in a while you get a kid that, you know, whatever, or you know, but most of the kids, yes sir, yes sir. They're always listening.
They're good kids.
Yeah, they are. It's just sometimes you know the team. When you know the coach, when you first pitch, he's already no 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 no. Well, it's going to be a long day for you guys.
They probably had a frustrating game right before your game. That's probably the problem.
Well, and then they went to go eat, and they're running late, so they're blaming on us. That's right.
Yeah, it's a very frustrating experience out there sometimes.
And but we still come back and do it every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the good
yeah,
thing. I've enjoyed it so much. I'm going to do high school baseball and softball too. I mean, just because uh, that game got me what I got to do for 40 years, and continue to do, is it got me an education, and it got me to be around kids to teach them the way. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So talk about the difference between high school and travel as far as umpiring. Is it I mean, obviously the high school players are older. They've been playing longer, they know more. Um, what
You
about the
take
parents and the
you take
coaches?
chirping first of all, because that chirping is part of the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, Coaches, it's a thin line with the coaches, because
Yeah.
in travel ball, you can deal with it, and they're they're trying to do the best. But in high school, they have rules, and guess what? We know the rules, and
Right.
we have to we have to police the rules as an umpire. Whereas in
Hmm.
travel ball, you know, Mike and his crew are great crews, by the way. That if we don't want to handle it, they take care of it. But In high school, you got to handle it because
Yeah.
you ain't got nobody. That's you.
Yeah. Well, plus the high school coaches are paid. They're professional coaches. It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
professional, but they are paid to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the volunteer dads like David.
I don't care. I'll tell
Hey,
you what, Alan.
David's
I,
team has come a long way. I'm
Oh
telling
yeah,
you, they're getting better and better. I mean, I can't wait till the next year because they're climbing that ladder, and those kids are growing.
slowly.
Yeah, and I'm sorry you didn't get to go game 6 and 7 for the
Yeah.
Dodgers game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They ended
yeah.
the World Series real quick, didn't they?
They did. It's our story and our journey is kind of our own, and you know the kids. We challenged them, and we asked them the other day. What does anyone have a desire to play high school baseball? They all raised their hand, of course, and I said, well, now we're going to have to start acting like it. We're 12, and it's go time, and so we've divided them up in two different groups and put some captains, and they have off season work, and they're doing their body, they're doing their hitting outside of our Dodger practices, and whether they all make the high school team, I don't know, but at least they have a goal, and I think that we're in a really neat phase where we've had them since they were 8 and 9,
Right.
and now they're like this 12 coming on 13. It's a whole different. I mean, they're whole different people, and it's really cool to watch, and that's the neat part of coaching the same group of kids for so long. But yeah, I think we'll be all right. It's definitely it's a really neat phase for me to see them kind of just take it to the next level.
Yes, sir.
I've got one of my captains. He in his group chat, he was sending out videos of his workout so everyone could see what to do. Yeah, just neat stuff like that because it's time. If they really want to make a go, they need to just intertwine baseball in their life. And
You bet.
if they love it, they'll do it. And it's been a lot of fun watching that. So. Yeah, the one thing I was wanting to ask you just for fun, I know we shared a couple of stories over the years. I appreciate you just being approachable when we have had you a couple of times. Parents, I don't know if I could handle the travel ball environment as an umpire because I think I would probably lip off. You're much more patient than I am. But you did tell me a story once about just kind of stopping the game and going out and sitting in the stands. Do you remember us talking about that?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Tell me that story. Tell everyone that story.
Well, there comes a point where you're gonna have to remind me. Tell me about it.
Well, I think you were telling me that you had just gone out and said they wouldn't stop. These women wouldn't stop, and not that it's about a woman, but these ladies wouldn't stop, and you went up and just sat in the stand and said, "I guess I'm waiting for you to do your job."
Oh yeah. Now I do remember that. And and they're just passionate, but you can only when you warn them 3 times, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've had enough. So if you in between innings, I walked out and they were sitting right there, and I went up in bleachers and acted like them and ready to get a tan, and they said, "We're ready to go." I was like, "Well, go on and hit it. You see, you know all the rules anyway." So you know, they didn't like that, and of course the coaches and my partners like, "Why you do that?" I was like, "They got to learn that we're we're not here to cheat anybody. We this is the way it is." So it's just um, it's unfortunate, but sometimes when you've had enough on a 6, 7, 8 game day, that
Mhm.
you just got to shut it down.
Well, when you told me that story, I knew I really liked you from that point on because that's definitely something I would pull out as well uh, after getting chirped on too much. All these years, do you ever remember any like players that came through that and you've coached a lot of high level stuff too, like the showcases. Who
Right.
are some of the players that have gone on to do other go on with baseball and maybe even professional level or high college level? Who are some of the players? Maybe do you remember names like that, or
Oh
are you
yeah.
just out there?
I just I'll forget about names, but the Prairie Grove boy, that went to U of A. That's here. Now he's in the bigs. playing for maybe Detroit, maybe it is, or something like that. McCann, you know,
Oh,
Yeah.
I know McCann also.
Hmm.
Danny Jackson. You know, I got to play with Danny Jackson, and that's Danny Jackson that played for the Reds and the Royals, a left-handed pitcher that would
Yes, sir.
rip a shot
Yeah.
every game. Intense thrower, and I got to catch that dude. So you know that's a good thing. Uh, um, you know, our school here at Greenland, we've had some great baseball players, but you know they're country boys, you know, and they get to go to the little schools, you know, maybe Carl Albert or that one up in Missouri, but um, by name,
Uh,
no, but
yeah.
body.
I just know you've been. You've seen some good ball
Oh
though,
man,
haven't you?
let me tell you what. When them Oklahoma teams come in for showcase and they're 6'5" and they're left-handed piping it at like 92, and then the catcher goes, "Yeah, he's only 16 years old." What? I mean, so you know, there's some great organizations out there. I love the organization out of Missouri, Kansas, Missouri, and then we had a team 3 years ago. Um, the Mavericks, and they had 10 boys on their team. They all could hit a home run. They all could pitch, and they all play different positions. And one of those boys lives in Rogers or Bentonville. He's a black boy. They're probably juniors now, but man, every one of those players are going to be. I guarantee you, they're going to be players because I've never seen a team like that ever in my life. They all are really good, and they're great kids too.
Let's just take high school on that, Alan. I mean, you're telling me that, and I'm thinking, what we know that there weren't many 16-year-olds throwing 92 from the left side 30 years ago.
No way, zero.
No way. When did that happen? And uh, what's your experience been along the way with the development of arms and skill level? Because it's high right now.
I think there's more knowledge, not knowledgeable dads or clubs that teach them the right way. I mean, these boys are using straight legs. I mean, you know, they are bending those knees, staying tight, and just uncoiling. But it's effortlessly. You know what I mean? They're bigger, faster, stronger. That's all I could say. And you know what I think also most of these kids are playing three sports, but they're also practicing three sports. And I just hope we just don't wear out some of these great athletes that we get to see at 12 and 13 years old. I mean, you know that boy from Elkins, Justin Hankins. He's got a son that you know he when you're 12 years old and you're 6'3" and you're throwing 75, you get behind the plate. You better, I mean, that ball comes on quick, and you better have
yeah.
a kick. I mean, that's equivalent to 94, 95. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
uh, uh, sometimes it gets a little scary, not because they throw hard, because you're afraid the catcher's not going to catch it.
Yeah, and having done all levels like you've done, we all know there's a level where at a certain age and a certain 9 AA, there's some teams that aren't going to catch it all the time, are they?
So, zero chance. And you know, a umpire is going to get hit because the batter swung at a ball. Because the
Yeah.
umpires are always properly in the proper slot, and I only get hit when they swing at balls.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if the ball goes straight down the middle, they're going to hit it. Ball's above their head, they swipe at it, and the catchers think it's their fault because I got hit. No, it's the batter's fault because he swung at a ball.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We're trying to get them to stop.
It's
I told you we like to swing. So
Yeah. My kid loves to swing at pitches over his head.
We're working on that too.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, we're working on that too. So, what age do you think, Alan, it's okay to specialize in baseball? You talk about playing all three sports, and some kids specialize younger than others. Or do you think play all three as long as you can
I
through
don't,
high
I
school?
don't, I don't think you should specialize. I
Okay.
mean, there's so many Tommy Johns now. There's so many ACLs because the kids are focusing on one sport, and you play all three sports, then your body learns how to do all the stuff. You can always hit. You can always put a ball on the tee if you're a baseball player, but learning how to play football and basketball give you a little coordination, or you know, at least two sports because. You, Travel ball, the longest travel ball is age 10 years old. We start playing in February and they end in July and then they even go to fall ball. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a lot of baseball, and like the last tournament was at Kessler, them boys are going to play for championships in football. They're
Hmm.
playing baseball at 10 o'clock and they got a championship game at 2 o'clock and then they're coming back to play at 4:30, you know, which is okay, but you they need a break every once in a while and you go play another sport. Have the desire.
Yeah, I think we're lucky here that there's really no baseball going on right now. We'll have November, December, and January where there's really, I mean,
They
teams might practice, I guess. We don't.
no, I mean they might be in the batting cage stuff like that, but kids need to at this age. You ask when they get high school and college. That's what you're going to do, right? I mean, you by your 10th grade year, you've really separated yourself on whether you think you're going to be good at football or basketball or something like that. Now, there's always those outliers that can do both, but if you want to hone in and you got a passion for the sport, then I think by your sophomore year, you should start focusing in on it.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, a school like Greenland, you have a lot more options too. I mean, kids could play three sports.
Oh, well,
Um,
they
if you
get
go,
they
if you
have
go
to
to
play
Fayetteville,
they have to play three sports or we can't serve
yeah,
team. Not like
yeah,
Fayetteville and Rogers and all that, where
yeah,
like Harbor. Will McGinnis coaches at Harbor. He used to coach here at Greenland when my son played. He's a great coach, by the way. I'm doing a little thing for McGinnis, but they had 65 cats try out for Harbor baseball. Come on, I
yeah.
mean.
At those schools, you're lucky if you can play one sport.
Right, exactly. So that's when it gets competitive. So that it just goes to show you. So and then they're quitting, right? And so they got to
Hmm.
go find another sport. So you you go to a small school, you're gonna get to play all the sports, and maybe that's the experience, and maybe that's the disadvantage of a small school.
I think it's a great advantage of a small school.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean,
We might be coming over there.
we got the facilities. We got turf on
Hmm.
the football field. We got turf on the baseball softball field. We got one of the best small town gyms in America. And it's not the giant palaces, but when you walk in, oh, this is a basketball.
Well, I also
Alan,
think it's an important part of the high school experience for kids that do want to play sports to get the opportunity to play a sport in high school. And I think that's a real disadvantage to these big schools.
yeah, I think we may have lost him just for a second there, but I would agree with that 100%. So, um,
What did you play in high school, David, besides baseball?
I played basketball through my sophomore year, and then I played football
Yeah,
throughout.
you didn't play baseball in high school.
I didn't know, and if
One
you
of
ask
those
me
dads.
why, you asked me why, I really couldn't tell you why. Um,
Right,
it was just one of those things where I think back in the day, football was king, and everyone would come up and say, "How's the team going?" And
right.
it was just the point of conversation, and I was kind of good early at it, and that kind of just, then you
Yeah.
just kind of go with what sometimes is easier a little bit. But looking back, I'd do something different. But I think that Alan has lost his connection, so we'll pause it and see if he can come back. If we can't get him, we really do appreciate him being on there, and we'll see y'all at the ballpark. Hopefully, we'll be back with Alan shortly.